Hello, this is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist. Thank you for tuning in. This is a very impromptu conversation that I have with my dear friend Colette Elizabeth. If you don't already follow her, please do so on YouTube. We call each other the Harriets
Harriet.
because we help Black women leave and heal from toxic jobs. So, Colette, can you introduce yourself and we're going to get into the conversation?
Sure. Hi, Sister Harriet. My name is Colette Elizabeth, and I am a content creator. I have a channel called Colette Elizabeth, and I am also a leadership development coach, mentor, and all those things. I just want to say thank you for having me on the platform today. Again.
Absolutely, my friend. Yes, again, yes, she's a frequent guest. So we're having a conversation today. Again, very impromptu, and it's really focused on no job is worth your life. Okay, so this is for Black women who are in toxic jobs, and we want to just tell you, no job is worth your life. And the reason that we're coming on, I know Marissa Price did an outstanding video about this, and I'll put her video in the description section as well, but we wanted to come on because of the comments that we have seen from Black women to our videos in terms of the significant psychological toll that a toxic job can have on you or have on them too. And they talked about just the level of distress. It's very disturbing. So I know that when Stephanie Perry interviewed me, Black women leaving toxic jobs, I read all those comments. It was over 700, and it was just detailing so much pain and anguish at a toxic job. So we wanted to come on to talk about some of the most disturbing ones that we've seen and just to talk to you about options, okay? So any Black woman, if you are watching this, we want to assure you that there is a way out and no job is worth your life. So Colette sent me a comment. And Colette, if you could just share those comments and we'll talk a little bit about it and then we'll talk about options that are available to help Black women.
Sure. Dr. Kamani, as I mentioned earlier, I have received a couple of, I'm just going to go over a few, um, very, very, they were troubling for me and they broke my heart. But one of the comments that I received to my, we both survived toxic jobs. In this video, Dr. Kamani and I actually interviewed Dr. Kamani on my channel, and we just talked as toxic job survivors about some of the things that we are doing um, on our healing path. So,
Mm-hmm.
one of the people who watched the videos said the following: I know that my job is toxic, and I am getting gaslit on a daily basis, and I feel very depressed, like I have no more purpose on this earth. But watching this video, I realized all my hurt and sadness is linked to my present job situation. I have a whole lot of things I'm fighting, but didn't really recognize where my hurt was connected to. So that was a recent comment that I received.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the level of pain, and you know, I've seen comments like that too on some of my videos, and just how Black women feel so devastated by their toxic work environment. So Colette shared that with me, and I was like, let's do a video, let's talk about it. And when we share the comments, we're not going to share people's names. We're not going to read all of the comments either, okay? And I just want to say, if you are a Black woman watching this right now and you might be triggered about any of the information that we're sharing today, please don't continue to watch this, okay? So if it is triggering for you, do not watch this video. But I do want to let you know about resources that are available to help you. So I'm going to say the resources first, and then I'll say them throughout the video, okay? So if you are experiencing immediate harm, you're having thoughts of hurting yourself, you need to get help immediately. Okay. So that means going to the nearest hospital, nearest emergency room. You can call 911 and let them know it's a mental health emergency. You can call 988. You can call or text 988, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the the Lifeline number, okay? So these are resources available to you. So Colette, if you could share the other comments as well.
Yes, the other one, I have two more. The next one, I'm not going to say the person's occupation, but it was in a specific field, a helping field. And it says that and it says the name of her occupation, are being sabotaged. We are getting set up, treated worse. We get the most people to care for. We get ignored, and so much more. It's so hard. Many days after 20 years, I wanted to just walk away, but I cannot neglect my people that I'm caring for. Every day I work, it's hard, toxic, and draining.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So again, just and you know, it's interesting, Colette, too. I was thinking about conversations that we've had like online and even offline, in relation to as Black women, how dedicated we are to the work, and that people see us as workhorses and they exploit us. And because we want to do such a good job at our jobs, that sometimes we stay, even though we know a job is toxic, right? So I know we've had conversations about that too. So any thoughts about that, Colette?
I do have some thoughts. I know me personally, even though I was in a government sector and I was in management, I stayed a little longer because I was concerned about some of my other employees and what would happen to them. And I'm speaking specifically of my Black female employees. What would happen to them if I were not in the environment? Because a lot of people don't realize that when your career is being discussed, you are rarely at the table,
Yeah,
and you're most likely not in the room. So
yeah,
if you don't have an advocate, if you're not at the table and you're not in the room, you need to have somebody who is an advocate for you. And for the Black employees, I was the advocate for them. So what would happen is there would be times when I'd see things where discussions were being had about what to do this person, what not to do that person, and generally the negative stuff was usually about Black people. I was the lone person in there saying, "Hey, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should." So I'm
yeah.
saying all that to say I stayed a little longer than I probably should have, in part due to my my feeling of being kind of like a guard for them, the watchman, the protector,
Mm, mm-hmm.
because I had management, authority, and I was in a leadership position to where I
Yeah,
did have the ability to do some things. And I felt like if I leave, they won't have anyone. Like now, they don't have anybody. And
yeah,
it helped me, even though it's not in some of these other fields, I still had that feeling of having to
yeah.
stay to help people.
Yeah, so you're trying to protect people at the expense of yourself. And I
Yes.
think a lot of Black women can relate to that. I know I could relate to that too when I was working at the school district. And I felt that I had to stay and fight for the rights of Black students. I felt like I just had to do it. And if I didn't do it, but guess what? Other people would do the work. And I had to prioritize myself. So maybe as we talk about the comments too, maybe both of us, because I really envision this as me talking on my channel, you talking your channel, that we are helping Black women go through the process in terms of leaving a toxic job, because it's not easy to just up and leave. It is not easy, okay? There are a lot of fears, there's so much stuff. And you even said something, Colette, because you were in my head, right? So you posted a video, I think this weekend, about the sadness, even though you've left a toxic job. And I was feeling some sadness this past weekend because it was my 1 year liberation anniversary of leaving that toxic job. And so, yeah, part of it, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not there. But another part was I did feel sad. I felt sad about the work that I was doing there and just what I thought I could accomplish there and all the things that I wanted to do, and even some of my colleagues that I really liked. So I did feel very sad about that. That was a part of my identity that was lost. So I hope that we can talk a little bit too about how we can help Black women the process. So like even watching this conversation, this might be part of the process for you if you're watching this right now. You may not be ready to leave now, but now you're open, more open to it, right? So, Colette, can you share a little bit? Let's go into it right now, actually. Can you talk a little bit about the sadness, right? So, you talked about feeling that you were not able to protect people, but you were being harmed. How did you get to the point where you recognized that you could no longer protect anyone if you were not okay? How did you come to that realization? Because I think a lot of Black women stick in these jobs, and I've heard them say, got 5 more years. I got 2 more years. I got 3 more years. I can retire after that. And they start making excuses. But I'm just curious for you, how did you get to that process? Because I think people can benefit from hearing that.
I think for me, there's a couple of things that happened. I got probably pushed to that project. I mean, excuse me, pushed to that through that process a little bit. Um, Actually pulled by my kids, my adult children, who were like, "No, no,
Yeah.
you're being harmed. You are not well."
Yeah.
My one of my daughters said, "Your personality is different.
Mm.
You're changed, and you cannot help them."
Yes.
I'll give you an example of one person who I was trying to stay for. Had made a decision. Okay, when this person gets to my level, which I was mentoring this person and pouring a lot into this person so that they could pretty much replace me, Black
Mm.
woman. And when I felt or saw that this feeling that I had, this I felt I don't know, ingratiated might be the wrong word, but I felt that, and it was not reciprocated. It
Mm.
was like, it's nothing. It was taken for
Mm.
granted. And
Wow.
yes. And
So
so,
you were sacrificing your health to help somebody else, another Black woman, and
yes,
she didn't even really appreciate it.
no, no, she did
Wow.
not. And
Mm.
pretty much let me know, and yes, I had been
Wow.
there for this person for a number of years who was also being harassed. And I could
Mm.
see it, knew it was happening, and
Mm.
on several occasions sort of rescued her and said, "Hey, put her in my area. I
Wow.
can work with this person." And that
Yeah.
happened. So long
Yeah.
story short, that kind of helped me put things in perspective, that hey, these people thinking about themselves and what they
Exactly.
and so I
Yes.
need to start thinking about myself and my family.
Exactly.
They're putting in,
Exactly.
and I was not doing that.
Yeah.
I was not being respectful of my children who saw me being
Mm.
harmed every single day. And I
Mm.
was not being respectful of my own soul, watching my
Ooh.
own soul being,
Ooh.
stabbed
Colette, can you
and
elaborate on
yes.
that part? Please
Well,
elaborate on that part.
my soul was being, assaulted every day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like going in to a head-on crash every day, and
Mm.
knowing that that head-on crash was coming every single day and reliving it. And when you know something bad is coming, you tend to tense up, whatever. Of
Yeah.
course, I know I'm looking back on it now and I realize what was happening to my body, but in my mind, I was thinking I can make it better. That's what my
Yeah.
mind was saying. But
Yeah.
my soul was hurt. It was
Yes.
harmed. It was
Yes.
injured, and
Yes.
I was disjointed. My soul was over here, my spirit was
Yeah.
over here, my body was over here, and everything was fighting to survive separately and not together. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Absolutely, because I
Uh,
can really relate to it because you are under attack all day. So you're looking around you all the time. So it's like a trauma response because you are being traumatized in the workplace. And that takes a toll on us. But as Black women, we have been taught so many things about that we can handle everything. We are the super women. We are all these things. And in fact, there was a comment to one of my something I did, and the woman said, as Black women, can we take off the S? And I was like, yes, sis, can we take off the S? We are not always super women. We can do these things and we've been able to, but it takes a toll on us. And we start tripping up ourselves or mind tricking ourselves. Like, I got this, it's not that bad, or, I can play the game, but all these things are hurting us. So, Colette, it sounds like both of us related to those comments because we've been there, right? So, and there was another comment, is that correct?
Yes, I have another one.
Okay, what was that comment?
That comment, let me pull it up here. This one it's very long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was just heartbreaking. This person basically talked about how she was going to stay and fight and take them to court, and how she was being set up by not only her direct supervisors, but there were conspirators that were in the job that were ganging up on her, where she was physically threatened and felt physically unsafe in
Wow.
her working environment.
Mm,
Because, a lot of people don't realize that in these toxic jobs, there are like little gangs. It's like it's called the in group. And that's a
yeah.
leadership term. It's an in group. You have the in group, you have the out group, and
Mm,
those people in the in group, they sort of act like little gangs sometimes,
they do.
and if
They
you are
do.
not, right, and if you are not in that in group,
Mm,
particularly if the leader has chosen you to be a target, then the
mm-hmm.
little in group goes after, that target. And so the
Yep.
description that this particular person gave, it was obvious she's not in the in group. Okay.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm.
so the comment went on to say that she felt unsafe, um,
Mm,
physically unsafe,
mm-hmm.
and that she had been physically threatened.
Wow.
But she had resolved that she was going to stay and fight it, even though she admitted in her comments that this was not serving her. It was
Yeah.
actually contributing to the deterioration of her overall well-being. And
Right.
even in the actual comment, I shared it with you. You can read, you can feel the heaviness. You could
Yes.
just feel it, especially if you've experienced it before. That place, because
Yes.
before we decided to actually exit, I think both of us talked about how we were like, we're not punks.
Right.
We're not going to preach about our
You're not
position.
gonna run, yeah, y'all know
You
we,
know,
yeah.
who are you? Who do you think you are?
Right.
And we put our
Right.
chests out.
Yes.
Then it takes a toll on us, and we have
Yeah.
to realize that it's not necessarily punking out to say,
No.
hey, you know what? This is simply not worth it, because in the
Right.
end, if you are not here, if you are not alive to see the result of a lawsuit, what
Yes.
did you win?
Exactly.
You've
Exactly.
lost
And then
everything, including
you're
your
right.
life.
Exactly. So even, okay, when we think about when you are sitting there fighting and putting all that time and energy on that, now the job is defining your whole life. You can't think about anything else. And I've seen this happen. Even I would even say my family knew everybody involved, right? They knew them by name. They're like, oh God, you
My
talking about this person
family,
again?
my mama knew the names of the people. My grandmother who passed away, she knew the names of the people. I would tell a story. I'm sorry to cut you off. I would start telling a story, and she said, "Who did this? So and so." Yeah, I mean, and it's like, I don't know if it was like a soap opera to them. You know what I mean? It wasn't a soap opera, but what I'm saying is, how soap operas is messy, it's stuff, and
It's
all the
drama. It's
Erica Kane.
drama.
We all know Erica Kane. So
Right.
right. So it was like that. But
Yeah.
the problem was, I am their relative that they love. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you're right. My family knew all the names,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then but the bad part about that is, well, there's a couple bad parts. One, when you come to the whatever, it's like, okay, we're gonna have to hear about the job. Now sometimes my mom would just tell me, I don't want to hear about this job. I gotta go to therapy because I gotta hear about the job.
I'm being traumatized too,
Because
for real, right?
exactly, because they're traumatized. And I
Yeah.
remember, and then my kids would say, Mommy, and then we even got to the point where with my oldest daughter, I saw that I was taking these bricks and loading them on my kids.
Oh,
And that broke my heart. And I remember
wow.
telling my daughter, both of them, when mommy starts to talk about the job, let's
Mhm,
come up with a word, a
mhm.
phrase. I said, and then I, so that it could snap me out of it. And they did. They
Wow.
came up with phrases. And sometimes I ignore the phrase and they'll say, Mommy, you ignored the phrase. I said, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Because when
Wow.
you're in it, you're
You're
you're trying to
consumed with it. You're consumed with it.
consume.
And then it becomes like this personal mission, like you said, I'm not weak, like you're not, I'm gonna show you. And it's like, what are we doing? And it's like a delusion that we're thinking that what we're really doing is going to make a difference because the system's rigged,
It's
right?
really,
So they already fighting against you. They already talked to human resource before you even got there.
that's right.
So you're going to lose anyway. And like you said, you can lose not only your peace of mind but your life. And when I say that, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just being real. This is real talk. Okay, real talk, because I've seen it. I've seen Black women at that former job dying and all this other bad stuff happen to them. And when I saw that, and when I realized what I was doing, and when I took a leave of absence, I was like, no more. I'm not going down that path, right? So, Colette, when what would you say? So there's a lot of women here, and I see Marissa. Hey, Marissa.
Hey, Marissa.
Um, so we referenced your awesome video too. So what would you say to a Black woman who's watching this right now, and she's like that woman that you just read a comment about, and she is consumed with making that job pay. She's gonna sue them. She's gonna do all these things. What would you say to her?
I would say to her is what I would say to her is if you knew today was the last day you had on this earth,
Mm,
what would you want to be doing? How
mm.
would you want to be feeling? That's what I would
Yes.
say. And the reason why I say that way is because I remember looking at a video that S. Anne Marie Archer had done, and on her channel, um, what is her channel? It's
The
called
anti-HR lady.
the anti-HR lady. She had done a video, and one of the things she explained, and I think she said it on your channel as well, is even if you win the lawsuit, you
Hmm.
do not necessarily feel better.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm not telling
Exactly.
people not to exercise their rights to get the
Hmm.
legal remedies that they feel that they're entitled to. I'm not saying that. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, weigh the cost.
Yeah.
What is the cost to you? And for each person is different. It's
Yeah.
completely different.
Yep.
And what I can also say is, the longer you stay in that cycle of trauma, I feel
Hmm.
the more stuck you get to where
Yes.
you do feel desperate. And
Yep.
I'm glad Marissa Price is on the in the live because
Hmm.
her video, this job is not worth your life, sis, or something
Hmm.
like that,
Hmm.
or
Yep.
no job is worth your life, sis.
Hmm.
That video, when I was looking at that video, I had to kind of slow down.
Hmm.
It was not completely triggering for me, but
Hmm.
it brought up some feelings that I did not feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reason why I bring it up is because you said you're not trying to scare people. I am trying to scare you. Okay. I'm trying to scare you to reality that
Mm.
you're right, sacrificing your well being
Mm.
is not helpful
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah.
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 So I
Yeah.
want people to know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm talking from the therapist perspective, right? Even though this
Yes,
is
you
not
are.
therapy, but I'm speaking from the therapist perspective
Yeah.
that, I'm really looking at part of getting help and part of the healing journey is number one, recognizing there's a problem and there's awareness of this is the source of the problem. So when I talk about Black women in toxic jobs and healing, I want to share resources with you. Colette wants to share resources with
Yeah.
you, right? So in terms of Colette, it's like telling you straight out, sister girl, get out, right? She got
Get
a
the
whole
hell out.
series about that. Get out
Yes.
and get out and tell, right? Tell the truth, tell people what's going on. And for me, I have really channel that anger that I've had about that job and channel that anger that I had towards myself, actually, that I stayed there
Yeah.
and that I allowed certain people to talk to me in a certain way or treat me in a certain way. So I've forgiven myself for that and I've done a video on that. But the thing about it too is that I wish I knew I had resources available. When I was in that situation, it was so painful. But you know what was really painful too, Colette? Was that people that I thought I could somewhat trust betrayed me. And
Yes.
some of these people were Black women. And that was so very painful just to kind of step on you when you're down.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I wish I knew about resources to help me when I was there. Thank God I did recognize I need to take a leave of absence. So I
Yeah.
knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when all this stuff started like brewing up, I got back into therapy, which was fantastic, and I would
Mhm.
absolutely recommend that to anyone. Got back into therapy, and she was like, "You know what? I think you need to take a leave of absence." And when I took that leave of absence, that helped me. However, I still had to do a lot of things on my own because I didn't know about resources. So
Right.
now, if you're watching this now and you're in a toxic job, you now have the benefit of hearing Colette and
Yeah.
Marissa, other Black women talk about being in a toxic job. So we're not like, oh my God, we can't talk
Yes.
about it. No, we're going to talk about it. We're going to keep talking about it because the silencing is a form of oppression. So we're going to keep talking about it. And we're trying to show you that there's a way that you can heal and you can channel that anger to someone
Yes.
else. Okay. So,
Yes.
what I've been doing, I channel my anger through YouTube, right? So, by
Yes.
having conversations, by sharing resources, by doing this masterclass with S. Amory Archer. So, you guys may follow Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie is the anti-HR lady. So, we recently did a masterclass for Black women who are ready to leave toxic jobs. So the master class is Save Yourself, Channel Your Inner Harriet, so you can leave that toxic, hostile job with your sanity and your coins. Because like we're talking about right now, this stuff can really mess with your mind. Okay. So even if you're thinking about leaving a toxic job, it generally is a process. You got to get your mind right, but don't think and don't lie to yourself. Oh, I'll be okay if I just go on vacation. I'll be okay if I just buy this bag. I'll be okay if I get this car. You're not going to be okay. You're not going to
Mhm.
be okay. And the healing really starts once you leave. So if you are looking for resources, you can follow Colette. You can follow Marissa. You can follow me on YouTube. Okay. These are free resources for you. Okay. And I hope that you go into therapy too. Okay. Go
Yes.
into therapy so you can process all this trauma. And if you want to access the masterclass that I talked about that Emery and I did last week, you can click the link in the description section and get the replay. Okay. So, Colette, I when you sent me that last, because I know I saw the other ones,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
when you sent me that last one, I felt so sad. I
I
was
do too.
so sad to know that this Black woman and any other Black woman who might be watching this right now are feeling so like, and I said this before, like the job has a chokehold on them,
It
right?
is. Mhm.
And I want Black women to see us and know that there is a way out of a toxic job. You are not stuck. You have options. So, in terms of options, start exploring what else you want to do. But you might need to take a leave of absence to do that. Okay. So, we've talked about different options in terms of leave of absence, therapy, coaching with a Black woman coach. So, Emory has a Black Women's Coaches Directory. I'll put that in
Yes.
the description section. The masterclass I just told you about that as Emery Archer and I did, all that information is available to you. Okay. And again, if you ever experience thoughts of hurting yourself,
Mhm.
ever experience that, because that can happen if you are in these toxic jobs, it can drive you to that point. Okay. If you ever in that situation, remember, go to the nearest emergency room, call 911, let them know it's a mental health emergency. You can call 988 or text 988 on your phone. for support. Okay, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay, so I want to read some of the comments, Colette. Okay,
Yes.
so I see Marissa saying good evening.
Hi,
Someone,
Marissa.
hello, Marissa. And also see love both of your channels. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blessings to both of you for creating spaces for Black women to finally speak up to how
Thank you.
toxic environments have severely impacted us. We will no longer accept suffering and silence and choose freedom. Yes. And
Yes.
Colette, I don't know if you saw this. I posted something today, and it was Black women in the workplace posted reposted a video of Loretta Devine, and she was
Oh,
singing
wow.
"I Rise Up." And I just want to say to Black women and to
Yes.
myself as a reminder that we will rise up. We continue to rise up.
Yes.
We might need to heal as we're trying to get
Mhm.
rise up, right? But we're not going to let
Mm-mm.
these toxic jobs take us out. We're not going to do it, okay? That is so important to know. It is a toxic job. It is not you. You are not to blame. Thank you for this much needed work,
Yes.
and peer support. Yes, and dialogue. When your career is being discussed, you're rarely at the table, and
That's
we
right.
feel that stress is terrifying. So true. A lot of us in DEI roles feel that we will be letting our community down if we leave, but
Mhm.
you are also someone who needs care. Yes, we should not sacrifice our lives for a job, okay? Finally got in. So happy to be here, Dr. Kamani. Thank you for joining. I totally understand. I've been in that position and that was tough. Trying to keep our fellow sisters safe and looking out for them on the job and having them drop a knife in my back, shaking
Yep.
my head.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
And
Okay.
can I say something about that?
Yes, yes,
That to me, that part, other than trying to figure out why, which I want to
yeah,
talk about that too, but
yeah,
that part was the most painful and the most difficult part to recover from
yeah,
because
yeah,
you expect it from others.
yeah,
You don't expect it, or we normally don't. As African American women, we normally are accustomed to, like your channel name, lifting
yeah,
as we climb,
yes,
and
yeah,
we've done that. That's been ingrained in us from birth.
mm-hmm,
We work together as a community.
yep,
So for when that happened, that
mm-hmm,
was hard, and I had
yeah.
several Black women do that,
Ooh,
and it was,
several.
oh my gosh, yes. These were people I had dinner with, people who've been
Ooh,
in my house, people. So
oh,
I'm talking about some stuff. I had some stuff that I had to really, 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 really work hard to get through and get over that.
yeah,
And I don't know if I'm still over it. I still have
yeah,
to say to myself, I forgive so and so. I forgive,
yeah,
sometimes I
yeah,
have to do that. But
yes,
I just wanted to share that. And
yeah,
then the other thing is, you mentioned in one of your videos, I forgot what it was, about trying to figure out why. The
yeah,
video, instead of figure out why, figure out what next. That
mm,
why part kept me trying to show, hey, I can do this. I'm
mm-hmm,
worthy. I'm that.
mm-hmm,
And I wasn't
mm-hmm,
thinking that that's what it was. I was
yeah,
thinking that, maybe I did do something. I believe Marissa Price talked about the self gaslighting that we start to
mm-hmm,
do. She did a great video on that.
yeah,
I forgot the name of that video, but you guys should check it out on her channel,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Marissa Price. But she talked about the self gaslighting that happens. And
mm-hmm,
that's a real, real thing, because what happened is, you go, I've done the things, I've
yeah.
done everything.
It doesn't
I
make
know.
logical sense, right?
And it doesn't make any logical sense. But guess what? This is not logical.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
It's not logical.
Yeah, and that's what trips us up. Because I literally had a consultation call this Friday, and the woman said, "It doesn't make sense. Like, why would they do that to me?" I said, "Let's pause. We're not going to try to figure out anymore why they did it, okay? Because we're wasting time. Clearly, we know that they're very disturbed people, right? Clearly, we know there's something wrong with them. but it doesn't benefit you to find out why. And guess what? You'll probably never truly find out why, because they're not going to tell you, because they're not truthful. They're not going to tell you. You need to take your power back and say, now what? Okay, I see the writing on the wall. What do I need to do now? And you know what, Colette, you remind me of someone you were talking to. When we were talking earlier, you said, do these people know that they're doing this? Like these workplace bullies and these people in the workplace who cause harm, do they know they're doing it? And I, I think they do,
I
right?
think they
I think a
do.
lot of times they do know that
Yeah,
they're harming people, and I think that they feel like it's okay.
yeah,
I think
I
they
think
feel
they
like
do.
certain people are expendable and they just don't care. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you see this, because a lot of times with the workplace bullies, you've seen them do something negative to other people before. You've seen it
There you
before.
go. There you
So if
go.
they have done it to them, it's going to come back around to you. And Colette, to those Black women who did not support you or betrayed you in some way, it's going to come back around to them too.
That's right.
So that's what's so ridiculous. Like, are you thinking that you're immune to it? No, you're not. You're not. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want us to keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. So this next comment, and sis, I don't want to say your name, but I want to say I'm so proud of you. So this woman worked at my former employer.
Okay.
So we worked the same place. And today she said it was the first of a new job. So the first day she left where I previously worked for 27 years.
Wow.
Wow.
That's how long I was
Wow.
in your job.
I was the same. I chose myself. I'm so proud of you. I'm
Yes.
so proud of you. And I
Yeah.
just want to say, oh my God, I'm so proud of you that you chose yourself,
Yeah.
okay? Because that place will kill you, okay? I cannot say, Colette, within the past month, I've had about 4 Black women from that job contact me and say, how do I get out of here? I need to get out of here, okay? So
Mm.
again, sis, I love it. I'm gonna send you a private message, okay?
Yes.
Um, I'm so happy. Yes, because we're often one person fighting against entire institutions. It's not sustainable. No, it's not. It becomes all consuming. Absolutely. It hurts when the people you thought would speak up for you don't, because they don't want to risk their position. Right. They don't want to risk their position. And you know what else is so that I had to come to terms with, that I felt, you know, I felt that because I did such outstanding work, that they really valued me. And I felt that, wow, if they put me in these positions and they've had all these trainings, and I'm training people, like that they needed me. Like I
Right.
really felt that, right? That they would see
Mhm.
my value. No, they didn't
Mhm.
care,
They don't
right?
care.
The workplace, they don't care about that. It's a whole pet the threat. Like, you're a threat now. You got to go. It doesn't matter. And again, we start deluding ourselves and thinking that we're indispensable, and unfortunately we're not in the workplace. Okay.
And can I add something to that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
It's one of the reasons why I hate the term human resources,
Ooh.
because they don't see you as a person, they see
Yeah.
you as a resource. And a
Yeah.
resource is dispensable,
Yes.
interchangeable, it is
Yes.
faceless. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It does not
Yes.
have, yeah, right. So that's how they see it. And that's how the masters saw the enslaved humans on their plantations. They saw them
Mm.
as human resources, or another word they use is human capital, right?
Ooh,
To where
yes.
they could trade. And some people even took loans against their enslaved
Ooh.
individuals. They took loans against them. They had them insured, like you
Mm.
insure your car. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So these organizations that are toxic, they know they're toxic.
Yep.
I used to tell people it's like swimming in a sewer. You
Ooh.
can't swim, and so it gets on everybody. You get down
Woo.
in the blip, and you can't come
Ooh.
out of that sewer without smelling like the blip. Everybody smells like it, right? Then you have
Right.
lunch with people. They smell like the blip. You with them, so now you smell like the blip, right? So it's on everybody. What do we have
Yes.
to do with the sewer? You got to clean the sewer out.
Ooh,
You
yes.
can't just go put potpourri and all that stuff in there, right? Because it's a sewer.
Right.
It's
That's
a
exactly
sewer.
what it is. That's exactly what it is. I
It's a
love that.
sewer.
I love that. Yes. That is exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I think that as Black women, when we go into these workplaces, and Colette, I'm gonna get back to the comments, but and this is how me and Colette talk. I mean, we could talk for a long time. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so there was something that came up recently, and I've heard people talk about this, but something that I think I just logically, again, when I was in that situation, I was trying to figure out how is it that the workplace bully or bullies can stay in these situations? Like, can't they see that they're undermining the organization? Like, can't they see that? But I saw a comment somewhere, they were like, you don't understand that sometimes these workplace bullies are connected in some kind of way. Like, they got some dirt on somebody. They might be having an inappropriate relationship with somebody. Like, there's something that you don't know that keeps them there, right? So they have some type of insurance, right? Now,
Mhm.
something else too that I saw recently was the whole issue of imposter syndrome. And I had issue with that, right? Because I feel as Black women that as we come into the workplace, generally we are very confident because we're like, man, I got this degree, I got this experience, right? And we know how to present ourselves, and we know that we have to over present and overperform to even get the job. So I don't think most of the time as we're coming into the workplace that we're feeling insecure. I think that people are insecure about us, and they do things because of racism, sexism, and all that other kind of stuff to try to put us in our place. But I have not really experienced imposter syndrome. And most people that I work with, like Black women, clients, and family, friends, they don't even talk about that. So I'm just
I
curious about that.
Yeah, I have experienced it. I have experienced
Okay.
imposter syndrome. My daughter has experienced it. In fact, I did a whole video on imposter syndrome for my daughter. But I have experienced it where you are in a high level and you go in there confident. You know the stuff, right? But then you get in there and other people, because we are kind of trying to not come off appearing like some of these stereotypes, like the angry
Yeah.
Black woman, the
Mm-hmm.
superwoman. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we go in, of course, we're code switching, many of us, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're trying to fit into a group, right? That
Mm-hmm.
we really, most of us have more experience than everybody in the group,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But I experienced imposter syndrome when I would have people that would come in and say I had this, and that, because I always found that other people validated these other folks they were bringing in, everybody in the room but me. I
Ooh.
always had to say, so for example, somebody might come in and say, I had, I have 5 years of experience in this area, and I
Mm-hmm.
specialize in this area. And
Mm-hmm.
other people would say that for them. They would
Mm-hmm.
not say anything for me when I actually wrote the manual for that area.
Wow.
I actually helped
Wow.
write the legislation for that area.
Yeah.
And they don't have a degree, most of them. And or if they do, they'll say, and I have an AA in this, and it's
Right.
it's in leadership, and this, and people would, yeah, they have an AA in leadership. Everybody in there know I have a master's in leadership. Do you
Right.
see what I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at that point, I know this is not necessarily imposter syndrome, but I did go through that sometimes when I was placed like in high uh, functioning groups, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily me starting off like that, but
Yeah.
there became a point where I did feel like, what did, do I really belong here?
Exactly.
And
So
then,
that's what I'm saying. I
yeah.
think that it's different for Black women. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
it's very
in
different.
the so-called classical way of imposter syndrome. I don't think it functions like that necessarily for many of us. I think it's layered. So I think
It
that
is.
when we come in, you know what you got. However,
That's right.
people are treating you in a way that they're making you think that you're less than, even
Yes.
though you're more than.
Yes.
And so then you're trying to figure out, well, why would they be treating me like that? Is there something wrong with me? Again, now we're internalizing it.
Yes.
But I think that's more of a reflection of the racism and sexism and all that kind of stuff, right?
I agree with you. In the studies, for my dissertation, I'm looking at some of. I have a something I'm citing in that. I haven't seen it in a while, but there are studies out there that show that Black women, we do experience imposter syndrome differently. There are studies that
Uh-huh.
validate what you're saying. We
Yes.
experience at high levels than other people, but it shows that it's different. It is
Ah.
totally different, even from other minority women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the study, I have to find it.
Oh, please send that to
I'll be
me.
I'll be starting back my studies next month, and so when I find it, I'll send it to you. But there is some research surrounding that,
Ah,
about
that
our
is
lived,
fascinating.
yes, about our lived experiences as it relates to imposter syndrome. And
Yes.
a lot of times, our because what they found is that our imposter syndrome generally is not initiated by our own initial thoughts. Whereas
Mm.
other people's imposter syndrome is, do I, ours don't start that way. Ours start
Right.
usually, ours is connected to gaslighting a lot of times.
Yes.
Right? So that's what
Yes.
it is. And so
Yes.
it's a little different because it's tied into
Yes.
other things, you know.
Yes. Yes. So the oppressive factors make us question ourselves. So the
Yes.
gaslighting, and also what I have absolutely experienced is these, I would say, lame attempts to try to put you in your place,
Yes.
right? So when they say, "Oh, so and so so great," "Oh, so and so so great," and they don't acknowledge you, they
Exactly.
trying to show you, Colette, you better just step it down a notch, okay?
Yes.
Don't get too big. Don't get too
Yes.
big, right? Okay, so let me read some more of the comments.
Yes,
I
please.
generally have experienced betrayal from another Black women in toxic jobs as a manifestation of resentment. They've accepted the abuse and believe you should too.
Hmm.
That's sad. No one deserves abuse. You want to speak to that? That's
The
sad.
person who I said I was going to stay on the job for until she got promoted, that's
Hmm.
her. That's how she see things. Yes, and so
Oh.
to me, that's sort of like a it's sort of like a sick way of showing I'm a superwoman. You're not a superwoman
Oh,
if you're allowing
no.
somebody to abuse you, which is what you're
Yes.
doing. And not only that, Dr. Kamani, if you're allowing somebody to abuse you, but encouraging somebody else that this is how they should do it, that's not a
Oh,
superwoman,
that's sad.
because the thing is, many of us, you and I have talked about this, we would tell our good friend to leave. We
Yes.
would tell our daughter to leave. So we would treat
Yes.
somebody else
Like a
sometimes,
bad relationship.
it's
Get
a bad
out,
relation.
girl.
We would tell them to go, whereas we might stay. That's how this
Yeah.
is different. This other person, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
We would say, girl, you need to leave him, right?
Yeah.
You know, we might say and not listen to our own advice, but
Hmm.
we show sometimes more concern for others than we do for
Yeah.
ourselves, which is why we
Yeah.
stay on these jobs longer, right?
Yes.
So yeah, yeah, I've seen that. It's sick.
It is sick. As someone recovering from
Can I say something
yes,
else
go
real
on.
quick? The
Yes,
other
yes.
thing I want to say is what people need to understand is these toxic systems and these racist institutions, they cannot survive without Black help. I call them
Mm,
tools. They can't help.
mm,
They can't survive without them. And they're not necessarily Black too. I should say minority help. People who you would think could identify with your cause or with you because they are also in a marginalized population.
mm.
They sometimes, most of the times, help perpetuate a
Oh my
lot of
God.
this because
Yeah.
they tend to be the I won't call they tend to be the COs, okay, correctional officers.
Oh.
Okay, they're not the warden, right?
Uh-huh.
They're the correctional officers keeping the prisoners in place. So they're
Oh.
the ones who, toe the line, right? You thinking that, oh, they're like me, we have some things in common, we're both part of a
Mm,
minority group. Oh no, a lot of these people are a part of the system, and that
yeah.
system would not be able to continue if these tools were
Yeah.
not there.
Right. Right. And I just want to add to Colette that, we know that white supremacy permeates all of our systems. We know that, in the workplace, we see a lot of the white supremacy played out for people. They could be white, they could be not be white, right? The white supremacy and the anti-blackness within the BIPOC community, right? Because the woman who was the main bully was not a white woman.
Mhm.
She was a woman of color. But crazy, I think that she considers herself a white woman, which is crazy. But I think she, but whatever. She was not a white woman. So again, don't think that we're just talking about white people. We are talking about anybody. It could be another Black woman. We're talking about anybody who is treating you in a harmful way in the workplace. Okay.
Right. And we
Um,
don't even have to go that far. Look at what the Supreme Court just did. I don't want to get
yep.
political, but look
Yes.
at who brought that case in front of them. That was a person who belongs to the BIPOC community, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Then look at one of the people who made the decision, who did the dissenting opinion,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to get political, but
Yeah.
we don't have to go that far. Sorry, that's my phone. We don't have
Uh-huh.
to go that far to even see. You see the examples.
Yep.
You see
All
the
around you.
examples all
All
around
around
you,
you. Yep.
everywhere.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. As someone recovering from deep wounds from a toxic job that can blind self-worth towards very concerning thoughts, our worth is not in our labor. Yes,
Mhm.
that is so true. That is so
Mhm.
true. Please know this is truth and seek support in this. One of the problems is that we are forced to move around, unable to secure finances when we retire. The whole issue about money, that keeps a lot of us stuck. Okay, so because I've heard of this so often, I am going to have a master class talking about getting your money right, how to get your money right, how to supplement your income, all that. I'm going to have a master class on that.
Good.
Okay, with a financial psychologist. Not I'm going to be a part of master class, but I'm not going she going to tell you about it. Okay,
Good.
another Black woman. Those health benefits cover mental health. Taking a leave is crucial. Reject any shame in getting what you pay into. Agreed, 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 right? Take that leave if you can take a leave. It's very important. Let's see. HR protects the company. Yes, absolutely. One of the problems, okay, we said that. Okay. So my guest from yesterday's on. Hello,
Oh, good.
Nicole. Good to see
Hi,
you.
Nicole.
Um, she said Gladys Delancey Bolding, PhD. I mentioned that yesterday. A lot of times we can't make moves like we want because our pensions are at stake. Yes. And Nicole made this comment yesterday. I was like, whoa. She said that, sometimes as Black women, because of social programming, we've been told to stay at these jobs to get a pension. She said that the longer you stay at a job, right, the older you are before you retire, it's a greater likelihood that you're going to die sooner after you
Hmm.
retire. So you're trying to, and Stephanie Perry talks about all the time, right?
Yeah,
She talks about, live a life of ease and, you could end up dying before you retire.
that's
So
right.
live your best life now. So thank you, Nicole, for sharing that.
Yes, that's good.
The why is their thirst for power and control. It has nothing to do with you. So true, Marissa. So true.
Mhm. Yes,
Congrats on the strength to leave after 27 years. This is motivating to overcome the fear of losing security. I'm so now
yes,
that feeds my soul.
yes.
Okay.
Our
It
work here
feeds
is
my
done.
yes, it feeds my soul because Colette and I came last minute. We were like, let's have this
Yes,
conversation. And I love to see other Black women supporting other Black women
me
and
too.
saying, good job, sis. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. Um, okay, we said that. Plantation mindset for real.
Yes,
Legitimately have heard a Black man in leadership proud to announce maximizing resources, referencing having employees take on multiple roles without compensation.
that's true. That's happening now. Actually, I want to talk to that a little bit. You
Mm,
have, especially during the pandemic, you have a lot of employers that were doing that, and they're still doing
yeah.
it. And I think that there's some legislation and some lawsuits that will be forthcoming.
Ah,
You particularly saw it with what some employers did, and what they're doing is during the pandemic, they would make some of their staff managers so that they're
what?
salaried, and they would have them work. When you're salaried, you're working, you can work more than 40 hours and not get paid overtime. So
Wow.
yes, and that included um, putting these people in a management position, making them salaried, forcing them to work different hours and perform various tasks so they would have multiple jobs. That is
Wow.
something that, yes, that's something that is happening, and it's not uncommon.
Oh, I know about that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Internalized racism is real on these jobs. Only speaking so others. can know the red flags. She's hitting on it. The default expectation is to over present and overproduce for little to no compensation, but rather just to keep a job. Yes, that fear, right? So they incite fear in the workplace. Reverse psychology. You still thinking us as less than even when bust begins to be more like than textbook gaslighting. So a lot of gaslighting. This
Yes.
is how our minds get abused and warps our self-worth. Hope
Yes.
other women can be helped. I hope so too. Okay, so she said bust our behind. So we're busting our
Okay.
behinds.
Yes.
Yes, superwoman only exists in comic books. Gotta put the cape down for our human souls. Woo! I love that.
I love
Yes.
it too.
Yes, it's systemic. Okay.
Can I,
So
can I,
you're
can I speak to the one about busting our butts? You know, I don't necessarily like, for me, I was always a high performer and I didn't
yeah.
do it so that the boss said, "Oh, Colette, good job."
Yes.
I never competed with other people. I always competed with me.
Yeah.
Every job
Yeah.
I've ever had, I've always competed with me because I've
Yeah.
always known that there is no other Colette, right? Anybody I'm comparing myself to is always going to be an apple or an orange because there's nobody else like me. And
True.
so, what I have found is Black women, many of us, we're not competing with other people and we're not competing to get more money. We just have, like, for me, my mom, she's like, do it right or don't do it at all. So in my
Yeah.
brain, I took that with me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it
Yeah.
right. I'm going to do it the best I can. And we give our best on these jobs. And the consequence many times is to, get a raise or get promoted. That does not come without sometimes being abused, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
what the point I'm making is we naturally rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Black women
Yeah.
do. We just do.
Yeah.
If they say the bar is here, we already preparing to go here. And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the accolades. For some women it is,
Uh-huh.
and it's okay. But
Hmm.
we are just different. We
Yeah.
believe in giving our all because that's how we were raised up, most of us.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. I agree. So again, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And I hope that you're able to see Colette and I,
Yes.
and with me, with all my guests, all my Black women guests, that we are modeling sisterhood. So
Yes.
even though you may have seen or experienced situations, even Colette talked about it, I talked about some negative experience we have with Black women. I don't want that to overshadow
Mm.
the positive experiences and the power of sisterhood. My background is Spelman College. I am a proud Spelman alum. I am committed to sisterhood. And that's why I will continue to talk about this issue. I was all up in my head, Colette, about, oh my God, am I talking too much? And this Black woman was like, girl, keep talking,
Keep
keep
talking.
doing this, keep
Mm-mm.
doing it, right? So I will keep doing this. It supports my healing, right? So as I am lifting, as I am healing, I'm pulling back for other sisters. My hope, Black women, as you are watching this video, that you are taking what we're saying very seriously. I know we've been laughing here and
Yeah.
there, but take it very seriously that no job is worth your life. It is not.
Mm.
There are resources available for you. I will put those in the description section so you can access them. And I want you to please subscribe to Colette Elizabeth's channel. Please subscribe to Mr. Price's channel and
Yes.
please subscribe to my channel, okay? Also, I'm asking you, sis, as I'm lifting, as I'm climbing, Colette is lifting as she's climbing, Marissa, I am asking you to please help another Black woman. If you know that she is struggling in a
Yes.
toxic job, lift her up, please. Give her words of support, share resources with her, share this video with her, share other things with her, and give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube
Yes.
knows to share this video with other people, other Black women, okay? We want to share the
Yes.
wealth, right? And we want you to know that your work is not your worth. Okay, remember that. Okay, so Colette, any last words before we sign off for today?
I just want Black women to know that we've already earned our keep.
Yes.
Okay. We've earned our keep. You don't have to continue in a situation that is harmful. I know sometimes the options don't look like they're there when we're carrying so much weight because we're
Yeah.
not able to think clearly, you
Yeah.
know. But if I can encourage Black women to do anything, is to talk to somebody when
Yes.
you feel that you cannot take another thing,
Yeah.
call somebody,
Yeah.
let people know I need help,
Yes.
and I have these feelings, and don't feel ashamed.
No.
There is, you are in a situation that you yourself did not create,
No.
and so it's unreasonable for you to carry that entire burden, and you don't have to. I
Yeah.
want to, can I, and I hate to leave on a dull note, can I
Oh,
talk about a cautionary tale?
yes. Yes.
So this is a true story. I haven't shared it on my channel. I haven't shared it with anybody. I worked with a person at the place that I left. We were the same exact age, same exact age. And she had been telling me about some of the things she had been experiencing. Now, the bully that was bullying me was also her immediate boss.
Mm.
Okay. And she had told me some things, some of the, and I, as the manager, as a manager, told her some of her options, what she could do. She was scared. She didn't want to do it. She
Mm.
passed away.
Wow.
Passed away.
Wow.
We're the same. We were the same age.
Wow.
She did not get out. And I think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I think about,
Yeah.
this is a very true story. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about her
Yeah.
because I think if she had left, and I remember her telling me, I wish I could, I should leave, and then I remember her saying, well, I think I'm happy here, so I'm gonna stay. Yes, with all
Wow.
the stuff that was happening to her. So the point I'm making is make the choices while we still can make them.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Make the choices while we can still make them.
Yes.
There is no job that she didn't get to enjoy her retirement.
Isn't that
She
something?
not here,
Right.
and we're the
Right.
same age.
Wow. Wow.
And so I
That
don't
is
like to end it with that, but I think that we need to hit home that this is
yeah.
not a joke,
No.
and it
No.
could cost you more than your pension.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
mentioned before that I was afraid to go to sleep at night for
Mm.
a year or so because I
Mm.
didn't think I was going to wake up.
Mm. Because of health, the stress stuff with the job.
Thought I was going to die of a heart attack in my sleep
Wow.
alone.
Wow.
Okay. So take this seriously. Dr. Kamani has resources. Marie Archer on her channel has resources. I provide information. We out here and we are here
Yes.
for you. And we go through hell for having our channels curated to just Black women. We get a lot of people saying, why are you just focusing on Black women? We didn't talk
Right.
about that. So, you know, I gotta be honest, we're virtual, and sometimes I find myself, okay, I might get a case answering this one because, I mean, it's like I can't tell you how many times I get, why are you just dealing with Black women? Why are you just
Mm.
talking about Black? That's who I want to talk about. And that's who,
Yeah.
Dr. Kamani is talking about. We're doing this for you. And,
Yes.
we're getting some healing from it, but we're doing it for you because we want you to not have to go through what we went
Yeah.
through without the resources and
Yes.
without knowing other people are going through this because it's
Yes.
isolating.
Yes.
You think you're the
And to
only
know,
one.
yeah, and to know that you can leave and do well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Black women, I did a video about, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless. A lot of Black women think that, like they think that if they leave, they're gonna be homeless because people
Mhm.
have projected their fears onto
That's
them.
right.
And that's not true. Colette and I are nowhere near
Mhm.
homeless.
I'm making
I'm doing
way
so
more
much
money.
better. Yes.
Way more
So
money.
much better. Exactly. So don't reject that. That's a lie. Okay. I got two more comments and we're going to wind it down. Thank you for the
Okay.
cautionary tale. We still have time to choose freedom over loyalty to job
Yeah.
that doesn't value us. Boom. Dr. Nadia Lopez said, let us not be loyal to jobs that would not grieve for us or mourn for us in our grave.
That's right.
And as Emery Archer said, they would not they would not, what did she said, they would not close the doors to the business for one day or a few hours once something happens to you. Okay. So not 1 hour. We're not gonna give it a time.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Dr. Kamani, I just ran across your channel yesterday. Awesome. I did not know I did not know there were Black women, especially highly educated ones, who cared about trauma and toxicity. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are out here. We are out here. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you found us. Um, I can't understand the I can't understand what she was saying. Black women are experiencing I can't, okay, I don't want to say that part. But yes, we're out here and we're here to support you, okay? Black women need our own community because our issues are unique. Please
Yes.
keep this place sacred. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Hi, ladies, my first live, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. Awesome. So, sis, please check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our channels. So, mine is Lifting Us We Climb Consulting, Wellness Services. Colette is Colette Elizabeth. Marissa Price is Marissa Price. Stephanie Perry, Anne Marie Archer, the anti-HR. I have all that is going to be in the description section. Okay. So all these resources are available to you. And everybody remember that we deserve better. We
Yeah.
are queens. Our ancestors fought so hard for us to be here.
Yes.
Let us honor them and not be in work environments that are killing us. Let us honor them because they fought too hard for us to do this. You deserve so much better. I want you to know that, okay? So, everyone, please have a good rest of your evening and share this video with another Black woman and thumbs up to this video.
Thumbs up.
Okay, thumbs up. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.